Hey, Patrick, Dennis Feidner was CFO on the go. Hey, thanks for filling that thing out. I'm going to walk you through a couple quick things here to give you an idea what we can do for you. And I'm basically going to just really highlight the things that you said are must have because we can do all these things, but I definitely want to show you the must have. So I had sent you an email about a week or two ago, I think, on our the basic, our standard or extended version of estimating, but I do have a basic that may work for you actually. A lot less expensive. And so this is a estimate in Sage 100. It has multiple bid items here. We have trees, shrubs, some irrigation, some drains, lighting, and material allowance. I think it's all built in the same phase. Yeah, you could actually have front yard, backyard if you wanted to separate it. These are just different locations basically. So this is meant to look like and feel like Excel because most of you guys use that every day. So it feels like it looks like that, but it's not. It's actually our estimating system. So um, here is a 36-inch box tree installed. And so this is what we call an assembly. This is another assembly and another assembly. So these are already built. So if I want to come down here and I'm just going to, just like you would in Excel, I'm just going to insert a row here so I have some more room. And I come in here and let's do a double stake tree. And I just type in 168 here. You'll see that it brings in all of the components that make up that stake tree. And I just come in here and put in an amount. If I have, let's just say I have 50 of these. Same as your Excel, but I'm going to show you why it's not Excel. Yes, that's okay. Yes, that's okay. All right, and so what it did is it said, okay, I have 50 of these, and my assembly said I need 3/10 of an hour to do each one of those, so it just now takes 3/10 times 50, tells me I need 10.5 hours. I need 2 poles for each one of these, so it takes 2 times 50 gives me 100, and I need 4 of these, 4 times 50 is 200. Simple math. But here's what we get to do with all this information. Once we have all these assemblies built, and they're not that hard to build, by the way. Once you get the first one done, the rest are pretty easy. You could actually have in here, we just have a generic 15-gallon, and then we can put in the description what type of tree it is, so we don't have to have a part number for each tree. If you wanted a part number for each tree, that can easily be done as well. So it's up to you how you set that up. But most people like this will just put in a 24-inch box, and then the notes put what type of tree it is. But once I'm done with this, I can now put this out to the budget for accounting. I can put this out to a proposal for the owner. I can create the purchase orders to go ahead and buy this. And I can print, if I'm using subcontractors to do some of the work, I can act like concrete. If you sub out your concrete or your hardscape or some of that, or electrical, we can create a subcontract to do that. So if I want to send out an RFP to get some pricing for this, I can do that. So by working in here versus working in Excel, once I'm done with this, I can start doing a lot of things with it, which is nice. And I'm just going to, let me just close that real quick. I'm just going to look at irrigation. Like I need a controller, I need so many brass fittings, I need a control valve, I need 6 control valves. So these are all the parts that go with it. So these all have part numbers and they're tied to a vendor. So I can actually update my prices electronically if I get that from the, and I want to save this by the way. So where it says here maintain update prices, and I'm not going to do it because I don't have an Excel spreadsheet, but if I want to update prices, I said, okay, I want to update the vendor price and the vendor name and who the vendor is, because this happens to be Shamrock, let's say we're getting this price from. It's going to go in there and update all the prices, matching their Excel spreadsheet that they sent to us to these columns, matching the part number, matching the description, and whatever, and it's going to update all that. So as long as you can get it from your vendors in Excel, we can update it. Pretty simple. But the nice part is, once you get this job, I can, let's see, I think this is job number 2. Yep. I'll preview this real quick. I can now get a list of all the parts I need. So how much mulch do I need? How many 15-gallon trees do I need? How many 5-gallon shrubs do I need? But I can now start getting quantity takeoffs right from that bid and put them into a spreadsheet like this or a report like this. So pretty simple to use and pretty easy to set up. It's going to take you a little time to get some of those assemblies built. I can start you out with what I have, and then you guys can add to that. I forget how many I have in here. It's pretty long, actually. Let's go into parts real quick here. Let me just open this up for you so you can see. So, if I go into gate valves, all these gate valves are already in here. Hose bibs, I don't have very many. Couplers, I have some drip ports. So we can start you off with something, and then you can start adding to it, or if you just want to use this as a template and build your own. But you'll notice that kind of a Windows kind of thing, I have these broken into classes. And so here's all my part materials, all my plant materials, irrigation materials. So they're all in here. And then if I go out of here and I go to assemblies, now these are all my manual control valves that I have set up, mainline, the different things. So I have quite a few. I mean, obviously the pricing's off this database is per couple, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old. So the pricing's not gonna work. But once you get it all set up and get part numbers and get the manufacturer's or your supplier's vendor, your vendor's part number in there, then you can start updating prices pretty easily. So that's the estimating, kind of in a nutshell. But that's our basic. It's the least expensive, and it works for landscapers pretty well. So that's why we have it. So change orders, everything in our project management is in your change orders, purchase orders, subcontracts, cost of complete analysis. One of the things you want document control so you can do daily field reports. So I'm just going to pull one up for you here. Actually, I'm going to switch companies where my other data is. So hang on. I only had that set up for estimating. So let me go into where I have my change orders and subcontracts. So if I go into document control here, I have daily field reports. I just have one filled out. So what you got to get from your guys in the field to do is they've got to fill this out, or somebody needs to fill it out for them. It goes both ways. I've seen it done both ways. Today's date, what job am I working on? What were we doing? Who am I reporting it? What was the weather like? And a couple more user-defined fields that you can use for whatever you want. What people were working today? What did they work on? Was it regular time or overtime? I cannot remember if you do some prevailing wage or certified projects, but if you did, what pay group did they work in, and how many hours did they work? What subs were out there? How long were they there? What were they doing? What equipment? So I had a forklift out there, a concrete saw, a roller, a paver. But in your case, I actually have that equipment now can be charged to the job because to me it's just like an employee, except doesn't call in sick. You have your equipment number, what item was he doing, how many. Let me just open this up. This is reported by days. This is one's reported by miles. This one by weeks. This one by hours. So you have a choice of how you set it up. In this case, this piece of equipment here on line 5 was operated for 3 hours because it has a higher billing rate when it's working, and it was on the job for 5 hours, but it wasn't doing anything. So it has a lower rate because it's not using fuel, it's not using oil, and it's not getting anywhere to tear. So there's a lower rate attached to the standby rate. And then down bottom here, left-hand corner, were there any incidents that I need to track today? Any accidents? Did I have any meetings? Who did I meet with? What kind of meeting was it? Where are my notes? By the way, this is like 90 pages long, so if you can type, you can fill it up. And that's about it. And so I'm going to close that. So that's our daily field reports. Change orders, which is another one we do a great job on. So I'm going to pull one up that's already here just to save time. So I guess I should have said this at the beginning, Patrick, but you can pause this thing anytime you want. If you want to see more, look at detail of what boxes are available, just pause this thing and take a look. But what job is it? If it happened to be a different phase, like backyard, front yard, or what have you, we can do that. What's the description, change order number, and it will assign the next one in order if you set the system to do that. Why am I doing this? Again, a couple more user-defined fields, the date I ordered it, the date that I submitted it, the date that they approved it. Is it an open because it hasn't been signed yet? Is it been approved and ready to go? And a couple other statuses that you can keep it in. The other thing we do for some other people is what kind of change order is it? this is more for internal purposes because I like to just know, does somebody come out and steal all my trees and I have to order them again? Did I think I could plant 20 trees a day and I could only plant 10 trees a day? So I need more labor hours, so I have to increase my budget. Those kind of things. But that way you're able to track and see where you might have missed your bid. Two tabs here. One's the budget. So this is real simple. They want to upgrade something. I call my sub and I say, hey, I want to do A instead of B. He tells me that's going to be another $1,850. That's the vendor. He already has a subcontract with me, so that's going to be change order number 2 for him. Over here on the prime, I go back to the owner. He doesn't see this, by the way. That's just for your own purposes. And I can either apply overhead and profit to calculate what I want, or most of the time I just like round numbers. I asked him for $2,400, and they came back, approved $2,300. So now I'm going to print a sub change order to the owner for $2,300. When that comes back signed, I'm going to create a change order for the sub to sign for his $1,850. Now, once that happens and everything gets marked approved, the contract goes up by $2,350, and my budget goes up by the $1,850. And up here, a little paper clip up in the corner. If you wanted to attach the signed change order to that, or if you wanted to attach pictures to that, or the one most people have been doing is they're dragging and dropping the email approval prior to them getting the hard copy. So a lot of times you get an email with approval to start, they'll just drag and drop that email in here so that it's there. I'm going to quickly show you what it looks like. So, here's your logo, who it's to, what project it's for, lighting for $2,300. But the nice part here down the bottom is it does the AIA format, where it does that recap of where you started on the original contract, previous change orders, this change order, excuse me, and then the new contract value, and then if there's any contract extension. So that's that. Actually, let me go back real quick. Missed something here. So what I did is I previewed it up here in the top right hand corner. I previewed it. I can preview it. I can print it for any reason I wanted. I can throw reports out to Excel or to Word. Or if I wanted to just email this, I just click this that goes out to my Outlook, and I email it either to an individual, or B, to a group of people. And so pretty simple on the change orders. And hang on, I got to check my notes here. Change orders, daily field reports. Yeah, so let me close this up. Security is by menu option. So if I hit project management here, and you can't see me, but I'm going to hit my function 7 button, then I have certain groups that I can set up, and they're all different. They're always different for each company. But if I only wanted the bookkeeper and the estimator to get in here, I would just check these, and those are the only 2 people that can open that up. If I open this up and I go here, I can hit my F7 again. These are the only 2 people that are allowed in there. And if I open this up one more time, F7, only person that can see that report's the owner. So you have the ability for each menu option to set security by individual's work classification. It's not individual. Each individual will belong to a group. So if he's an estimator, he's in the estimated group. So when you hire somebody new, you're not setting up security for them. You're just setting them up. You're just assigning them to the estimator group, and that's how they'll have their security ratings. So we can protect all that stuff for you. I'll jump over here in a second. Time and materials, absolutely, with the markups shown, with the markups hidden, your choice. Equipment, which is one of our add-on modules, but yeah, you can set up a piece of equipment. I think number 3 actually, I think has a bunch of stuff on it. Yeah, so a bunch of information, serial number, license plate number if it has one. These are all the costs that have been charged to this piece of equipment during its lifetime. So if I wanted to see it, let's go. So this is where this piece of equipment was repaired. This is who I paid to fix it. If there were notes on why, there would be a note up here or something attached to it. That's it. So that was who I paid for it. Now I can go back and pull the invoice to see exactly what it was for. If I want to see how much, let's close one more button here, how much revenue has been scheduled from this job, how much I've received from this job, I can do that. If it's a lease, who the lease is with, the loan number, the pay date, the interest rate, the amount, depreciation can be applied to it each month. This takes a little time to get used to, but it's pretty slick. This is how you calculate what that rental rate should be by putting in your fixed cost for ownership and your cost to operate it, and then an estimated number of hours that it's going to run for the next 12 months, and that will give you an idea of what you should be charging on a hourly or daily basis for that piece of equipment. And let's see what else you had on here. Oh, I did want to go one more place here. So in jobs, when I set up a job, and we'll just go to job number 2 here because it's got a lot of stuff on it. So real simple. What the name is, we give it a short name just for keep it easier. The status, you might be in bid status. You may have bid it and you didn't get it, or you might be in contract to sign the contract, and then current's where all the current jobs are sitting. Complete means I'm finished with it, but I haven't got my final payment yet, and then close is when everything is said and done. So as you close them, they fall off of your cost report, so it makes the cost report stay a pretty constant amount of pages. Now, nice part. Who the client is, address, yak, where I want my income to go, some basic financial information. If there's an architect, who the architect was, who estimated it, who sold it, and who the project manager is. And then a bunch of dates that we track. The plans were received, the date the bid's completed, the bid opening date, when the so you can track a lot of that information through as well. But I believe you're on QuickBooks. Here's something you can't do with QuickBooks that we can. There's a lot of things we can do with QuickBooks, but this is one that's really nice. If I can get to this button, to this job, and see this job, right, I can look at the bid items, the different phases on that job, the budget for that job, all of the purchase orders written for that job. I can look at all the subcontracts written for that job, any change orders for that job, any invoices, and any payments, and then a nice little contract summary that walks you through. So if I can get to the job, I can find out just about anything I want and drill back to the detail for what I need without having to go through a bunch of different menu options and open it to a lot of different items. If I'm a project manager for you, this is what my screen would look like, and I'm going to hide this over here. This is what I would have on my screen. I come into work in the morning. What do I have to do? I want to check on a job. I need to create a purchase order. I need to create a change order. I have to submit an RFI, submittal or transmittal. I need to fill out my daily field report. I want to look at how I'm doing on my budget. And let me just pull one up here. These are the items I have on my job. This is the hours I have budgeted. And this is the hours I've already had turned into payroll so far. And then I come in here and say, you know what? As of today, I'm actually 81% complete, which is an odd number, but we're just going to use 81%. I can recalculate that, and now I can look and say, oh, wow, this is going to be a good job. I need 8 hours to finish that, and I'm going to be 14 hours under budget because I'm doing a good job. They can now start doing these things themselves to see how well they're doing on their projects. The one I think is going to really help you is, I don't have it on this menu, and I'll go back to it and say, you know, job status report, committed cost report. This includes all of your open purchase orders and purchase orders and subcontracts. Whoops, nope. There's one that I think you're going to like. Project management costs. And this one here, I really think this will be helpful to you over time. So plug your items in here. You know, the plant trees, guide stake, the wire, you know, run sprinklers, control boxes. So those are your tasks that you have to do. This is the budget that you had from the estimate to do it. This is the number of units. Remember, we had 59 trees, 50 trees that had to be staked. So those are the units that came from your estimate. This is the cost through payroll with all the burden applied to it, your materials that you bought from vendors, your equipment cost, what have you. You ask the guy in the field, how many of these have you got done at the end of the week? You plug that in, or he plugs that in. And now what I get is something really nice. And I'm a unit price guy, so obviously I have a little fetish here, but this is the way I was raised for 20-something years. We looked at unit cost on a daily basis. I budgeted $85, which is basically just this 22,000 divided by 24 gives me the $85.75. Somehow I decided I want to spend $137 on each one of those. You can read the remaining columns going across, but here's the deal. Next time I have to bid a job that's similar to this, I can go in and look and say, well, I'm off on this one by a little bit. I'm a little under on this one. I'm a little under on this one, close on this one. but I need to figure out why on this line item, the last three times I'm doing, 130, 137, 142 or whatever, and I'm always budgeting 85. You got a problem in the field, or you got a problem with your estimate, but now you have to figure it out. But now you have the data to do that, and it's just a couple of mouse clicks. You saw how easy that was to get to. Anyway, I think I covered everything for you. Obviously, it was this introduction. If this makes sense, let's get online with the rest of your team and answer any more questions you have. But give me a call when you're ready. You can get me at 800-659-5851. My name's Dennis, so it's 800-659-5851. And I've got a trainer in pretty close to you. I've got one, actually I got a couple. I got one in Stockton, and I also have one in Santa Rosa. So we have trainers pretty close to you guys. Hey, have a great week. Thanks.